Our final candidate today is a man of many talents. He's got a personality larger than life. He's had so many experiences in different ways you cannot even possibly imagine. It's led him across the state to make many great connections, many great friends, and he's used that to influence professionally and within his community. A man of many experiences, he truly does have a pulse on the life in Illinois. A native of the south side of Chicago, he started getting involved in community efforts in his teens. Through high school, he spent plenty of time volunteering with charities involved in neighborhood cleanups. Choosing to attend University of Memphis, he later played football at North Park University. Graduating with a bachelor's degree in counseling psychology, he went on to a career in professional wrestling. After he pursued the career, he went to his family's dealership while maintaining businesses in market and real estate investments. He knows the frustration at current high taxes. He realizes the frustration that everybody within the state is feeling. He knows you're all sitting here because you're angry at what Springfield did last week. He knows you're all searching for a new solution. He knows on the end of his state, too, that the genocide that is occurring in places like West Chicago and the south side of Chicago have to come to an end. And on our end of the state, that's East St. Louis, Washington Park, and all the depressed places that Springfield just seems to forget and politicians simply pass over after they get the vote. He truly wants to make connections with individuals, and he's going to use every ounce of his experience, every ounce of his charisma, every ounce of his personality to influence as much as he can to bring the state in line and in shape and on the right path that we've so long veered off of. I give you Jon Stewart.
Checks in the mail. I love talking to libertarian organizations such as yourselves because it's different than talking to people and voters in the state because you're insiders. And it's, I like to give you almost kind of like a State of the Union type of situation, what's going on with myself and with all of us and running. And just a little introduction, I'm 50 years old, I've been married for 19 years, got 3 great kids that all attended public school, which will be a big difference between my billionaire opponents. As Ryan said, by the way, thank you, first of all, for inviting me. It's a great experience. I was a professional wrestler for over 20 years, and that helped me to get comfortable in front of people, in front of my mic. The biggest thing that it did was get me comfortable with myself and find out what I believe in and hold to what my beliefs are. And I believe, and I see the people of Illinois respond to that. And as an automobile dealer now, I have the biggest skin in the game to anybody, in my opinion, just because of the reach of my business, and that the opponents are billionaires who are unconnected with our struggle. And so as the state of Illinois goes, so as my business goes and my family goes. And I tell the story to everybody. Every morning I get up and I walk down the hallway of my house and I pass my 2 daughters' bedrooms. And when I look at them, their lives are on the line, their future is on the line for what their father does every day, and their mother. And every decision I make is even more crucial, especially if I'm chosen to run the state of Illinois. And how goes the state will how go my daughter's future. And I just don't think that when Bruce Rauner and J.B. Pritzker walk down that same hallway and see their children, I don't think they're going to have the same type of interest or the same type of experience that someone like myself or you will have, where we figure out which bill to pay this week and which bill to pay that week. I don't think they're going to have that. And it's this perfect storm that I've been telling the people of Illinois about that is brewing. That is maybe possibly the greatest thing since 1971 that has ever happened to the Libertarian Party and the Libertarian Party of this state, is that we have a state that's collapsing, and that's unfortunate for us, but we have 2 parties that have literally destroyed the state of Illinois. And the people from Illinois next November are going to be looking for an alternative. They're not going to be looking for an alternative. They're going to be looking for a savior. And the thing about what I believe is going to be important is that the people are going to look for somebody that's got kind of the overall makeup of a politician or a person that can go against Rauner and Pritzker. They're going to look for somebody that's married, a business owner, and I believe somebody that can stand up to them in the debates and go toe-to-toe. They're going to be looking for somebody that's experienced but not inside. I ran for Congress twice. I ran for state rep twice. And what that did was build me a base of experience and know-how of how the political process goes. But what it also did, which will be important because if either of us are elected, we're actually going to need help from the party leaders on the Democratic and Republican side. So we're just, Matt speaks about this for the past 3 months. You're not going to become governor and you're going to become king. You're going to have to work with leadership. And one thing J.D. Pritzker said to me, I met him and his wife at the Gay Pride Parade 3 weeks ago, is he goes, I spent an afternoon calling people in the Republican and Democratic Party about you. He goes, do you know that I've not had one person say anything bad about you? I can't find anybody in either party to say anything negative about you. I'm not saying that to impress anybody here. I'm saying that to impress upon is that to create real change in this state, we are going to need somebody that's going to be able to put their arms around other people and other parties inside the legislature to get things done. And I think I'm that person, and I've proven that with my runs for Congress and for state rep. Could I have some water? Absolutely. There you go. Oh my God. It was back in February. I was at my auto dealership, and I was doing this ridiculous thing for the Illinois Department of Revenue that I won't go into. They wanted no money for it. They want all the car dealers to do it, and it's just one more regulation that the state of Illinois is thwarting on businesses. On the TV screen was the story of the 8-year-old little girl in Englewood that got shot in the head and killed due to a drive-by gangland shooting. And on my desk was the newspaper article where we're unable to pay the $16 billion in bills to individuals and agencies throughout the state. And it was at that moment that I got clarity. And a voice in my head said, someone has got to stand up and do something and make a stand for the people of Illinois. And that's when I decided to run for Illinois governor. And what the Libertarian Party is, one of our biggest precepts is the laissez-faire business-to-business approach. Stay away, stay out of my bedroom, stay out of my life, and as a business person, stay out of my business. And I am the poster child for the Libertarian Party when it comes to that, because if you sat at my father and I's desk day after day after day and saw the regulations and the rules and the paperwork that the state of Illinois makes an individual business person do week after week, it's ridiculous. So I am, again, another thing that I tell the people, I am in the game. I am in the bunker. I am not one of the field marshals in World War I dictating and guiding all of us in the trenches miles up. I am one of you, one of the people of Illinois, and people are responding to that. They are not going to respond to billionaires that just don't get it and never will. They're going to respond to somebody who's got skin in the game. Another thing I think that's important for a candidate that you choose for governor is electability. None of us are going to have a whole lot of money, Matt and Cash, and I want to also break into here and say that I just want to tell you something, that it is really relieving to me that my two opponents are just absolute gentlemen. I want to compliment them both for that. It's been a pleasure meeting you, working with you, campaigning with you, having laughs with you, and I wanted to tell people that I think that Matt and Cash are fine candidates, and both two gentlemen, and I'm going to give them applause if you I made my official announcement 2 weeks ago, and for the first time, literally, I think in the Libertarian Party of Illinois, I got major media coverage. It was in the Chicago Tribune, NBC Chicago. My story, my candidacy ran on 27 websites and newspapers throughout the country. This Monday, Fox News Chicago is going to give me 15 minutes, 7:30 in the morning, primetime drive time. Again, I don't say that to impress anybody. I say to impress upon, if we don't have money, we're going to need the media. We're going to need the media to bypass the tens of millions of dollars that people like Kennedy and Pritzker and Ron are going to put into this race. And Cash and Matt are not most likely going to be able to get the media coverage. And I'm getting, of course, because I was a professional wrestler. I've always said that. I'm going to use whatever I can to get as much attention on the Libertarian Party, on us, on this race as possible. So when somebody goes into to the ballot box next November, I think they're going to look for somebody that's, that's a married man, a married woman, got a family, has a business, and is experienced but not inside. And I think I'm that person. Some of the things that I would like to do with the state. Of course, we all want to balance the budget. I think we need to redo pensions. Do you know that our pensions were negotiated at 12% return? Now, anybody that's ever put money with a broker or has money or tried to do anything with the stock market, 12% return annually is crazy. I want to renegotiate pensions at a normal rate of either 5 to 7%. I've talked about this with marijuana. I'm a person that believes in full legalization of marijuana. And I made a joke that I'm going to sell it in the 2 gift shops of the 2 casinos that I have built in Illinois too, to raise money, because only if we get money into the state and bring businesses back into the state could we cure the budget problem. It's just that simple. It's not going to be created out of thin air. You're going to need individuals and businesses back into the state, and you're going to need revenue. I also talked about the opioid crisis that's happening in central Illinois. And I'm a person that believes in what an individual wants to do with what they want to do is none of our business. But when children, it's a different story. And you cannot have an effective state, an effective government, when you have drug crisis and drug epidemics going on in central Illinois. And to continue that even further, we cannot have an effective state if we have a genocide being committed in the south and west sides of Chicago and in East St. Louis. And I make it one of my #1 missions as governor is to stop the genocide and to make it safe for individuals and little kids to go to school and to play around their house. I love this party because it's about freedom. And I've tried since February to expand our notion of freedom. Because freedom just doesn't mean with the Constitution or the amendments. Freedom also means financial freedom. And that's something that the government of the state of Illinois will not give us. And I vow as your governor to give us all financial freedom, expand the party's knowledge of freedom. And I think that I have the best chance of being elected by the state of Illinois. The perfect storm is brewing for all of us here. And we have to take advantage of that. And we have to give somebody in the state of Illinois that is electable. And I think that's me. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.